In November of 2023, the Swell Pod took a 10-day journey across 5 states, traveling 3,580 miles with one challenge in mind.
And that challenge was to interview 100 pleasantly rebellious humans to uncover deep truths about what it takes to create something that has never existed before, challenge the status quo, maybe even change the world.
This is the Kiln Road Trip, created and produced by the Swell Pod.
In partnership with Kiln, Moterra Camper Vans, and sponsored by Taurus.
I'm Spencer McKeown.
And I'm Josh Taylor, and together we're the co-hosts of the Swell Pod and your guides on the Kiln Road Trip. Follow along on the journey.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, follow the Swell Pod on social media, and subscribe to your YouTube channel at, you guessed it, the Swell Pod.
This is interview 87 of the Kiln Road Trip, and today we're at Kiln Leucadia in California talking with Ben Hanson. Ben is the Director of Corporate Sales at Thread Wallets, where they have a mission to empower and inspire others to carry on. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. We hope you enjoy.
Welcome to the Swell Pod, the
Thank
Kiln
you.
Road Trip. Thanks for coming down and waiting.
Of course.
So, Ben, you tell us who you are and what
Yeah.
you do and what you're passionate about. And there is a connection. You don't know what it is yet.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah. So I'm Ben Hanson. I'm from around this area. Grew up in Southern California. But I work for Thread Wallets. So we're a company based out of Utah. I've been with them for about 3.5 years. And before I was working for Thread, I was doing tech sales for a bit, and I was managing a nursing home before that. And it's a lot of things I didn't particularly care about. And then I got the call from a buddy of mine that was at Thread, like from the very origin of it. And he asked me to come and do this really unique sales program. And like, hey, and one of the big sales was, hey, they were like, well, last week we were at the skate contest at Poods just on the street here in Encinitas. And I was like, oh, you guys go to skate contests for work? I'm like, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay.
And as a kid, I think I mentioned this in the interview, but one of my best friend's moms worked for Roxy as a kid. And so the big trade show in Southern California was always like kind of lined up with my birthday. So for my birthday every year, she'd get us passes. And we were like 14 and we'd just go nerd out and see all these people that we thought were really cool. But they weren't cool to anybody else, but to us, they were really cool. And so now it's fun to, kind of work in that industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you skate?
Mm-hmm.
Surf?
Mm-hmm.
All of it?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned we had Mackenzie on our podcast a
Yeah.
bit ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did, yeah. And I think she was probably my mistake, but we were going to get some Thread wallets and give them to each guest.
We can still make that happen.
She was,
I'm the guy. I am the guy. So.
I know. No, I think she was going away. I'm sorry for doing this live and the podcast. She was going away, and then she couldn't be on the podcast this time, but she was going to send a batch to my house. It's probably there now, like post the podcast. But so what do you love about Thread? Yeah, and also I don't know, anything else in your life that you're excited about?
Well, it's I run a pretty unique sales program at Thread. I run it. We call it our corporate sales division or a custom sales division. So we take our product, if you're familiar with it, it's lots of different patterns, lots of different colors and designs. So we take that and then we work with all sorts of different clients and then put their branding on our product. Mm-hmm. So it's funny because every day I'll wake up, and this morning, even just since I got here and since I sat down with you guys, I was emailing with a high school cheer coach, and then Chick-fil-A, and then Subaru. and so it's just like, I feel like I'm code switching all day. And so and I came into it thinking I was going to work with like tons of skate shops and surf shops. And that's kind of like it was like kind of like a small-minded like way of looking at it. And I still do work with those, but nowadays it's like working with like some of the biggest companies in the world. And so it's super fun, but it's interesting because I kind of am code switching all day, because when I'm talking to, a snowboard company, and then I'm talking to an executive at Chase Bank, and then I'm talking to Delta, and it's just, so all day, it's just kind of interesting working with these different businesses. But you realize that in reality, everybody's similar. People are the same people. People are people, no matter if they work at a tiny skate shop in Portland or for Delta, executive for Delta. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of it, for the audience, those who aren't familiar with Thread. So I know you mentioned the patterns and things like that, but just kind of explain what is a Thread wallet. Yeah.
So Thread wallets, the company's been around for like the last 8 years. The origin of it, I'm sure you've probably heard this, but the origin of it is our owner was surfing in the ocean one day with his wallet in his pocket, which is just a bad idea. But he lost his wallet in the ocean, and he went online to try to find something new, and all he could find were like just super thick George Costanza style wallets.
Yeah.
And he didn't want one of those. Yeah. So they didn't want one of those backbreakers, big fatties. But so he ended up going to the grocery store and stealing a couple rubber bands off of the broccoli or the asparagus. And that was kind of the very origin of it. And so nowadays we make super minimalistic. The first one is an elastic wallet. So it's all elastic, just kind of keeps your cards and your things in there. And so everything since we've made since then is all, the idea is it's all things carry. So we make wallets, bags, backpacks, lanyards, keychains, all sorts of things like that. And the idea, it's all super small, minimalistic, and kind of it's not a big burden. It's something small and kind of, but it's a lot of fun patterns and different things. And so we sell in surf shops and skate shops and boutiques and things like that. And then I run our little independent sales program as well.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
You have a Thread wallet right now.
Yeah,
right?
I do, but I can't take it out. I really need to keep them shorter, or wash them.
Yeah.
Well, mine's probably 2.5 years old, and it's really.
We can get you a new one for sure.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's great. They are beautiful. They're nice designs. They just have a certain, and this is what I like about this story, and it's similar to some of our other guests. They went home and then started sewing.
Yeah.
That's crazy cool.
I think he started sewing on his sewing machine.
Yeah.
Of course, both of them did.
Yeah.
To help each other.
Yeah.
And that's just a fun story, and that happens to be from Utah.
Yeah.
The story.
Yeah, and So and the funny thing is, you've interviewed Mackenzie. Well, I guess Colby and Mackenzie, who are husband and wife, were in a class together. And he thought she was cute, and she also had a sewing machine, so they're two positives, And so they started hanging out, and they started sewing them in their garage and selling them at farmers markets, and it's kind of one of those garage started companies, you know what I mean? And now we're here and all over the country, so it's a lot of fun.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I usually around Christmas time when I'm walking around the mall, Threads has a little pop-up spot in one of the malls, and I don't know, I love walking by their stuff. It's really cool. It's really cool to look at.
Yeah, it's
also
fun.
I don't know, I'm a fan of the company.
Thanks.
Yeah. Tell me about so you started a sales program. So in your job, you're not only speaking with these large brands and helping put their brands on the Thread wallet, but you're also helping the company grow, helping other people do what you do, essentially, right?
Yeah. Well, it was interesting coming to this space because as I said before, I used to work for a tech company before this, and then before that I was working at a nursing home. And both of those, you go to trade shows and you get a lot of really crappy products. You know what I mean? You get lanyards, you get golf balls, you get mugs, and things that a lot of times maybe you're kind of excited when you get it in the moment, but then you go home and it usually ends up in the trash within 3 months. And so I know I grew up surfing and care a lot about the environment, and a lot of my life is spent in the ocean. And so I want to make sure I take care of those things that I love. So I came into this spot where I see a lot of waste, and I see a lot of these products that are made in my field end up kind of just becoming waste. And so I wanted to make sure that I worked for a company, and even though I'm working in the same space, we make something that's quality enough. So even if you do get it for free at a trade show or something like that, you end up using it, and it's become part of your daily life. And it's been really fun because I do go to a lot of trade shows, and I personally will give out free product to people, and they'll come back to me 3 or 4 years later and show me, it's really beat up and not as good looking as it was when we first gave it to them. But it is nice to know that people continue to use it, and it becomes a part of their daily lives, even though they got it for free at some trade show or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been the struggle I feel like I'm in, where I'm we are creating product, and we are creating things that people will buy or get for free, especially coming from me when it becomes a branded product. But I want to make sure the design's good enough, and then the product's good enough that people will actually want to go home and use it afterwards,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Any interesting spots that we should go to while we're here in Encinitas?
In here?
Yeah.
I actually don't know Encinitas as well. I live up in Oceanside.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But, of course you've got the taco stand down the street. super good.
Is
You've
it?
been there? Yeah.
No, I didn't know this.
Yeah, it's one of the best tacos I think in San Diego County.
Really?
It's super good.
Well, we're gonna go with that.
Yeah,
Just down this right here.
yeah, just down the street.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's super good.
Some tacos.
Let's do it. How about surfing? Where's the best place to surf? We've given each other challenges and our audience and Kiln along the way. So we've had to dance in supermarkets. We've had to do all sorts of stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And then your challenge, maybe it's both of us, but it's more so for you to go and surf.
I was a big snowboarder.
Yeah, sure.
But I've never surfed.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to try.
So he has to somehow, if we
So
get to
cold
our
outside.
100 today, which we might do, then
We'll see.
You have to
surfing after 6 p.m., is that not sensible?
Not this time of year.
Yeah.
I want to wait for a full moon for that. But
Yeah.
but early, sun comes up at I think first light's at like 5:59 right now. So it's before 6 a.m. So you can get out in the water about 5:50 right now.
Maybe we do that and then surf.
Maybe we do that. Yeah. We'll have to see. But
Would
yeah.
3 o'clock work, though, 3:30?
In the afternoon?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. That works.
So we might have to do that once our next appointment's over. But
yeah.
We'll take a look.
Yeah.
you just need someone to teach you.
Yeah. I think I've seen it.
You watch videos probably.
Yeah, I could.
You've seen Surf's Up, right?
Yeah.
Chicken Joe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
For
you
sure.
got it, yeah.
No. Oh, no. I loved watching surf videos, though, when I was younger.
Yeah.
I loved snowboarding videos.
Sure.
I wanted to make snowboard videos for a living, but tangentially, I would watch surf videos.
Yeah, of course.
Mountain biking videos.
Yeah.
I loved that stuff. So,
You
All the
head
time.
down to like in Carlsbad, there's spots called Terramar, and that would be a good place to try it out.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Should we get to the last question, do you think? Or-
Yeah, I think so. Well, is there any other things before that last question,
Sure.
you want to accomplish in your life, the
Yeah.
things you want to achieve? There's that in my mind.
Yeah.
It could be to do with Thread. I mean, you've got
Sure.
ideas and you want to, I don't know
Yeah.
what you want to do with them, but it might be something else beyond that. I think
I like
that's
that
my
question.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I don't know. So I was reading through some of the questions, and I don't feel like I have a perfect response for that. I don't know. I feel like I'm a pretty simple man.
Yeah.
As long as I'm doing something which I love, or I feel like if I like remotely, then I'll be pretty happy. But I love my job, which is fun, which is a bonus there. But I think the main thing is I just want to be in a place that I can support a family and live a happy life and spend time in the ocean and in nature, and grow up in a community, or have my kids grow up in a community of like-minded and friendly people. Then I feel like I've accomplished my goal. So it's not that crazy of a goal, but that's kind of what I want to do, and it's that's kind of where I want to go.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
that's a
Knowing
really
what you
great
want to
answer.
do now is a pretty impactful thing, right? It might change later.
No, 100%. I'm sure it
But
will.
right, but a lot of people don't know yet. What you want to do now. That's what you want to do, and you're content with it. And, and in a year, it may be you see a slightly different thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you work out of Kiln, or are we just? Is there any association to this Kiln?
I work at not this one, but I work at the Kiln Carlsbad.
Carlsbad.
My first time here, but I think I'm going to come back. It's nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And just tell me about like what having Kiln as a space to work in has meant to you. Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. It's we moved actually. So I lived in Utah for a while, and then I had the office there. And if you go visit the Thread office in Provo, it's a beautiful place.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really nice working in a place when I was there and a lot of times I wasn't working directly with them, but just working around people that are being creative and doing different things and trying things out and taking risks. And I missed that when I moved down here, and I was just working from home. But then I started going to the Kiln in Carlsbad, and I kind of have that again of just working around people that they're working completely different fields. Like we just talked about somebody creating non-festivals and beauty products for women, and I don't know, all sorts of different things. But those are all people doing different things that are creative, and it allows me to kind of listen to them and see what they're doing, and also try to be creative. And it gives me a lot of inspiration to do my job in different ways and try new things out too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So as our last question, we
Sure.
ask this to everybody that comes in.
Yeah.
What do you think it takes to create something that has never existed before?
Ooh.
Before we get into the rest of the episode, we want to thank the partners and sponsors who made the Kiln Road Trip possible. The Kiln Road Trip is brought to you by Kiln. Kiln is a boutique co-working and flex office community with 13 locations in 6 states across the West. dedicated to providing innovative workspaces that empower your team to thrive. Whether you're a solo visionary or an enterprise-level team of up to 100, Kiln transcends being merely a place to work. It's a hub for learning and connecting with like-minded professionals that will make you and your team love where you work.
And if you haven't stepped foot inside a kiln yet, you really need to. On this road trip, we visited every single location, and trust us when we say once you see these beautifully designed spaces, meet the talented team, and connect with fellow members, you won't want to work anywhere else.
Locations include Utah, Colorado, Idaho, Oregon, California, and Arizona. And they're growing too, with multiple locations set to open in 2024.
Yeah, so be sure to check out the kiln locations nearest you by booking a tour at kiln.com and answer Swell in the question, how did you hear about us? Once you complete the tour, you'll be entered into a competition where you could win a 1-year membership, their club membership at Kiln.
Yep, you heard that. That's kiln.com, book a tour, and be sure to mention Swell in the question, how did you hear about us?
The Kiln Road Trip is also brought to you by Moterra Camper Vans, a luxury camper van rental company for iconic road trips. Their top-of-the-line vans are available at 7 locations located near America's best outdoor adventure destinations. They have consistently earned the highest customer ratings in the industry, making Moterra camper vans your gateway to adventure without sacrificing on comfort or service.
That's true, and initially we wanted to take this journey in a 1960s VW bus, but thankfully we found Moterra instead. With 3 van options, we took the Pop Top Classic, which sleeps 4 and is best for those who want to maximize floor space and storage. This was critical for us because it needed to sleep the entire crew, we needed space to edit, and we were traveling with large amounts of equipment, luggage, and other goodies that we picked up along the way.
And this van took us through all 3,580 miles of the trip. Super comfortable and sweet to drive.
And actually, Moterra offers fully planned itineraries if you'd rather leave the planning to someone else.
Visit gomoterra.com/swell. That's gomoterra.com/swell.
This episode is also brought to you by Taurus. Taurus is leading the charge in home energy storage. Taurus makes it easy to achieve energy independence and a greener tomorrow. The Taurus station provides everything you need to generate clean power, efficiently store electricity, and easily manage your energy use.
And installing a Taurus station offers plenty of benefits, including save money on your electricity bill,
also ensure energy security with backup power during outages,
reduce carbon emissions with renewables.
You can also automate EV charging and HVAC systems with 100% renewables,
and enjoy unrivaled system monitoring and support.
If you like the sound of those benefits, get a quote to build your Taurus station in less than 30 seconds. Super easy at taurus.co. That's TORUS.co. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Something that's never existed.
Yeah.
I always ask myself, if you try to imagine a new color, that's a pretty trippy experience.
I can't do that.
But to create something that never existed, I feel like my mind immediately goes to, I think you have to live, and so the ideas and the creative things that I feel like I have outside of Thread is just me going about my life and realizing, hey, that thing sucks. Let's make that better. And so I don't think if you're just sitting and just thinking, you're not going to experience those things to be creative and to create something new. I think if you're out in the world living and getting frustrated and bothered and seeing things that work better or worse, that's kind of when you're able to be a little bit more creative, because you're experiencing the world and seeing where things can be improved.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Kiln Road Trip. Be sure to follow along on the rest of the journey, and you can do that in 2 ways. 1, subscribe to the podcast, whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or maybe even watching on YouTube, and follow along on all of our social media platforms, whether you're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok, at the Swell Pod. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next episode.